Back at 8:09 with the dilemma facing parents of teenagers how to deal with the dangers of underage drinking. One California couple thought they came up with a way to handle it, but ended up in trouble with the law. We'll talk to them in a moment, but first, NBC's Mike Taibbi has their story.
It was the Friday night after Thanksgiving, and Stanford University professor Bill Burnett and his wife Cynthia decided to open their house for a party so their son and his friends, 16 and 17-year-olds, could celebrate a big football win. Their instructions, they say, no alcohol.
We weren't serving alcohol, certainly. We had bought chips and sodas and things for the kids. And I'd gone down twice and had not seen any drinking.
But at 11, while Bill says he was baking brownies, a knock at the door. A police officer saying an anonymous caller had phoned in a complaint.
We think there are kids drinking here. And I said, there's nobody's drinking that I know of. There's no alcohol.
But the police did find alcohol they say was snuck in by some of the kids.
They found evidence that the alcohol had come from that house. Photos were taken, recorded statements were taken.
And Bill Burnett, a college professor with a spotless record, was charged with 44 counts, one for each teen at the party, of contributing to the delinquency of a minor.
They put me in handcuffs and then put me in a cruiser and took me to the police station where they arrested me.
Because they know and fear the consequences of underage drinking, so many parents make the same choice. If the kids want a party, let's have it under our own roof where we can set the ground rules and insist they be followed. But insisting doesn't make it so. And when the rules are broken, tragedy sometimes follows. 6 years ago, the deaths of 2 teens in a car accident following a booze-fueled house party led the town of Pacifica to pass a so-called social host ordinance, imposing stiff fines if parents fail to take all reasonable steps to prevent the possession and or consumption of alcohol by any minor. Bill and Cynthia Burnett said they tried to do just that.
My wife and I set really clear limits.
Limits ignored, the police charged.
They need to be aware of who their kids' friends are, what their kids' friends are bringing to the home.
A reasonable thought some parents would say is a practical impossibility. For today, Mike Taibbi, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Bill and Cynthia Burnett are with us now, along with former prosecutor and veteran legal commentator Star Jones. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
Bill, this sounds like one of those situations you tried what you could to prevent a situation, but when you gather 44 high school students, knowing that drinking is often a part of gatherings like these, even though you tried to prevent it, were you asking for trouble?
I don't think so. Our son is a great kid. These were all seniors. In 6 months, they're all off to college. We put really clear rules in place, and we were patrolling the party. My wife and I were both at the house. We were upstairs. The kids were downstairs in the basement, and so we were there the whole time. I went through the party a couple of times. I brought them chocolate chip cookies. Was about to bring them brownies when the police came.
So Cynthia, short of hiring a security guard to sit down where these high school students were the entire time, have you thought in hindsight, was there anything you could have done differently to make sure that this didn't happen?
It's a tough question. You don't want to be sitting downstairs in the middle of your kid's party. That's not reasonable. You talk with your kids about how to be safe, how to make good choices, how to take care of each other. You let them know that you're there, both supervising and in case they do make some bad choices. I don't think there's anything else we could have done short of sitting there in the middle of the party.
So do you think, both of you, that the police overreacted here? I mean, this is one of those what-if situations. What if a child at that party had gone off, had a few drinks, gotten in a car, and been killed? Do you think the police did the right thing by the letter of the law and the wrong thing perhaps in judgment?
Well, I can't comment too much on what the police, did. There's a case pending. But, for us, the big issue is how to keep our kids safe. We were certain that everybody at the party would have checked out with us before they left. And I'm absolutely certain that nobody at the party could have left and driven if they had been drinking. I think the police have the opportunity to exercise judgment in situations like this. The Menlo Park Police, they do a hard job and they do it pretty well. In this case, I think arresting a parent isn't going to prevent kids from drinking.
Real
if anything, now the other parents in town. Sorry.
I was just going to say real quickly, Cynthia, if you could tell me, this is embarrassing, I know. You could just go off and not talk about this. Why do you want to talk about this?
Well, you know, I think the answer is in dialogue among different communities. The adults in the community, parents, law enforcement officials, city officials, and the teens themselves need to have a dialogue about how to create a safe environment for teens to be teens.
Right.
We need to learn to apply the law, apply common sense, and apply real caring for these young people as they're learning to come into the world and not create an environment of fear and uncertainty for them.
And I think it's important that you two are speaking out about this. Bill and Cynthia Burnett, I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you very much. And Star, let me turn to you. By the letter of the law, they were wrong.
They were absolutely wrong.
Is it the correct application of that law?
The law says when you commit an act or fail to perform a duty as it relates to a minor that could lead them down the wrong path, that's contributing to the delinquency of a minor.
And so you think the police acted appropriately in this case?
The police may not have used the best sort of community-based policing judgment, but in terms of the law, they did. Your job as a parent is to supervise and exercise control and protection. And when you don't, the police have to step in, especially when there's alcohol involved.
Yeah, I do give them credit for speaking out about it. I think it's good. Star, thank you very much. I already thanked the Burnetts.